You're looking at a modern satellite map of the Pacific Ocean. There's nothing unusual, just a vast expanse of blue between Australia and New Caledonia. But what if I told you that, for over a century, explorers, sailors, scientists, even Google Maps, insisted there was something there? An island. A big one. Sandy Island. And then, just as mysteriously as it appeared on charts, it vanished. No trace. No explanation. Welcome to History's Hidden Weird, the show that drags the strange, the forgotten, and the just plain baffling out of the dusty corners of the past. I'm your host, Quinn Strange. And today, we're heading into uncharted territory, literally. This is the story of Sandy Island, the island that existed, until it didn't. So where exactly was Sandy Island? It was supposedly located in the Coral Sea, between Australia and the French territory of New Caledonia. Roughly 25 kilometers long and 5 kilometers wide. Not a speck, but a substantial chunk of land. According to charts, it sat at 19 degrees 13 minutes south, 159 degrees 56 minutes east. The first known record of Sandy Island appears in 1876. A British whaling ship, the Velocity, under Captain James W. Robinson, charted the island after supposedly sighting it on a voyage. That information made its way into British nautical maps. Other maps, including the influential Times Atlas of the World and even the CIA's World Factbook, followed suit. And for the next 136 years, that's where Sandy Island stayed, on the maps. Except, no one ever really seemed to land there. Or even confirm its presence in person. To understand how this could happen, you have to understand a little something about how maps used to be made, and how errors could spread like ink in water. In the pre-digital age, mapmaking was often less about discovery and more about inheritance. New charts were based on older ones. Cartographers copied data from previous editions, assuming the information was accurate. So if one map said Sandy Island, the next mapmaker would likely include it too. And over time, that assumption became reality. It was a cartographic echo chamber. But it wasn't always an innocent mistake. Sometimes, mapmakers intentionally added fake locations, called trap streets or phantom islands, to catch copyright infringement. If someone copied your map wholesale, your fake island would appear on theirs, and you'd have proof. Could Sandy Island have been one of these traps? Or was it an honest blunder that just refused to die? Fast forward to the 21st century. We have satellites. GPS, Google Earth. Surely, if Sandy Island existed, we'd see it. Right? Well, not exactly. In fact, if you looked on Google Maps prior to 2012, you'd still see Sandy Island, although not very clearly. It was shown as a black polygon, as if something had failed to render properly. Suspicious, but not definitive. That brings us to the turning point. In 2012, a team of Australian scientists from the University of Sydney set sail aboard the research vessel Southern Surveyor. Their mission, study plate tectonics and gather geological data in the Coral Sea. But when they reached the coordinates of Sandy Island, there was nothing. Just deep ocean. The sea floor plunged over 1,400 meters below. No shallow reef, no sandbar. Certainly no island. In 2012, a team of Australian scientists from the University of Sydney set sail aboard the research vessel Southern Surveyor. Their mission, study plate tectonics and gather geological data in the Coral Sea. But when they reached the coordinates of Sandy Island, there was nothing. Just deep ocean. The sea floor plunged over 1,400 meters below. No shallow reef, no sandbar. Certainly no island. Here's how expedition leader Dr. Maria Seaton described the moment. We went to check the location where the island was supposed to be, and we found that the ocean floor was over 1,400 meters deep. We decided to name it the island that never was. The team double-checked everything: historical maps, satellite data, naval charts. Some older maps didn't include Sandy Island, while others clearly did. It was a mess. Shortly after, news broke. Island that never was found to never have been. Headlines around the world covered the bizarre tale of a vanishing island. Google quietly removed Sandy Island from its maps. So did the CIA World Factbook. Cartographers scrambled to scrub it from the record. And just like that, poof, the island disappeared. Now the obvious question: how the hell does an island that never existed stay on maps for over a century? The leading theory is this. Captain Robinson in 1876 may have mistaken a floating mass of pumice, perhaps from an undersea volcanic eruption, for land. That's plausible. Pumice can float in vast rafts for months. Another possibility? He misidentified cloud formations, or a mirage on the horizon, a common seafarer's error. But once the island was reported, it got absorbed into charts, and no one double-checked. As for more conspiratorial ideas, there's always someone ready to suggest secret military testing, censorship, even underwater alien bases. But there's no evidence for any of that. Sorry, X-Files fans. Believe it or not, Sandy Island isn't unique. It's just the most recent example of a phantom island being debunked. Others include High Brazil, a mysterious island west of Ireland, seen on maps as late as the 1800s. Thule, a semi-mythical land far to the north, possibly confused with Iceland or Norway. Bermeja, a vanished island off the coast of Mexico that some believe was erased for geopolitical reasons. In some cases, islands really did exist but later sank due to seismic activity or erosion. In others, they never existed in the first place. Sandy Island falls into the latter category. A ghost island. So why does this story matter? Because it reveals something very human. We like to think we've got the world figured out. That we can trust what we see in books, maps, or on a screen. But sometimes, reality slips through the cracks. The tale of Sandy Island is a reminder that knowledge isn't static. That what we know is often built on untested assumptions. It also says something about trust. Trust in our instruments. Trust in our history. And what happens when that trust is misplaced? And maybe, just maybe, it taps into something deeper, a yearning for mystery. A belief that even in the age of satellites and smartphones, there are still blank spaces on the map. So the next time you open a map, take a moment. Wonder what's been edited out. Or left in. Or imagined entirely. And remember Sandy Island, the landmass that fooled the world for 136 years, only to vanish without a trace. This has been History's Hidden Weird. I'm Quinn Strange, reminding you that the strangest stories aren't always the ones we make up, they're the ones we believed were true. If you liked today's episode, leave a review, share with your weird history-loving friends, and hit follow. Have a strange story you want us to cover? Comment below and we will see what we can do. Thanks for listening. Stay weird.